On June 1st, 2024, members of the Society's Central European Group, past and present, gathered at the Society's Family History Research Centre to celebrate the group's 40th anniversary. After a delicious morning tea and multiple conversations, it was time to cut the cake.
Cut the cake to celebrate 40 years for the Central European Group, and wonderful to have so many people who over the years been part of the group, many of you currently part of the group, some of you in past years part of the group. So let me plunge the knife into the cake. Oh, there it goes.
Then it was time for the members to be seated for the morning's official proceedings. QFHS retiring President Alana O'Kane welcomed special guests and paid respect to the local First Nations elders.
And of course welcome to other members and guests who've joined us both in person and online to celebrate this special event, the Central European Interest Group's 40th anniversary.
Alana extolled the value and importance of the Society's special interest groups.
I've often said that these special interest groups are jewels in the crown of Queensland Family History Society. They provide information and education and the reassurance of like-minded individuals, because we can't all be deranged, can we? Unlike what our family might think of us. The special interest groups provide company and companionship as we immerse ourselves in our mostly solitary research tasks, and give us all opportunities for peer learning and peer teaching or coaching. It's in the SIGs that we can most readily share. The leaders of the SIGs are priceless to the Society. Without their knowledge and passion, their preparation and delivery, and their ongoing commitment to their group, the SIGs would not flourish. And the Central European Group is singular among our special interest groups in that it's the first to make it to 40 years of continuous operation, and it owes most of its 40 years to one individual, the redoubtable Eric Kapitke.
Next, Eric Kapitke, the current convener of the Central European Group, was invited to speak about the history of the group.
What can we say? 40 years, it's quite a fair time. For some of us, it's perhaps half a lifetime. Others of us, we're not quite there yet, but it's a fair period of time. Way back in October 1983, it was suggested that maybe a German group, a German interest group, could be formed for Queensland Family History Society. The management committee said, well, yeah, that's a good idea. Go ahead and see what you can organise. The first meeting was on Sunday the 29th of April in 1984 at Griffith University Library. At 1:30, 18 people present. Doreen Ahlers was elected as the chairperson. 1985 was decided to change the name to the European Group to cater for more interest. But by October that year, it was decided, well, all of Europe, a little bit too much. Let's restrict it to Central Europe, which is Germany and surrounding countries, Germany and the Czech Republic, Slovakia and so on, Austria. Members decided that there were things that they really needed. One of the things quite early on was what did the ships look like? So we contacted the Museum für Hamburgische Geschichte and arranged for them to look through their records, and they were able to provide numbers of photographs, in some cases of the actual ships, in some cases of paintings of the ships. And so there's Charles Dickens with everybody's great-grandfather standing in front of it there. There we go, La Rochelle, which came a number of times into Moreton Bay, bringing quite a lot of immigrants. Now, one of the problems was that there were missing immigrant lists at the Queensland State Archives. And so how do we overcome that? Well, the members worked quite diligently to try to find ways around that. Some found that there were, for the ships that had come from Hamburg, there were available lists of emigrants who departed the port of Hamburg. And some people were able to print out lists of those. They'd go to the Latter-day Saints Church at Kangaroo Point and order films in, and were able to somehow or other manage to print out lists of some of the immigrants for some of the ships that were, whose arrival lists were missing here in Queensland. Given that some of the writing is difficult to understand, and that Doreen Ahlers pointed me in the direction of the Hamburg lists, Rosemary and I decided it'd be a good idea to cover those ships that were missing in the Queensland State Archives. So one thing led to another, led to another, led to another. And so over the years we transcribed all of the ships coming into Australia or departing Hamburg for Australia and New Zealand in the years 1850 through to 1879. We were able to change the handwritten lists into printed lists, which were a lot easier to read. One of the other acquisitions that we did were atlases. There were some atlases here in the Society already, but we made the effort to try to acquire atlases, road atlases at 1 to 200,000 or 1 to 300,000, a centimetre to 2 kilometres or a centimetre to 3 kilometres, that would show the towns in these places. Germany, from which most of our immigrant ancestors came, was much more extensive prior to World War II. At the end of World War II, the eastern part of Germany was cut off and ceded to the Soviet Union and to Poland. And if you take a modern map, a modern road atlas, it will cover modern-day Germany, the Federal Republic as it's known now, but not the former Eastern Territories. So as a result, we proceeded to obtain sheet maps, which are in one of the cabinets here behind me, showing the different districts of the former Eastern Territories, what some of the older Germans would call East Germany, rather than the former German Democratic Republic, as they called it, which we possibly wrongly called East Germany. Once you've got maps, you need to know where to start looking. So gazetteers are important. And we acquired a number of gazetteers. One of them we call the Red Gazetteer, Deutsches Ortsbezeichnnis. And it's available here in the library, not on the shelves, but tucked away, because it's a resource that we don't want to lose. So just ask the library assistants and they should be able to hunt it out for you. We also obtained microfilm copies of Meyer's Ortsenverkehrs Lexikon des Deutschen Reichs and the Gemeindelexikon für den Freistaat Preußen. Now, these together allow you to work out the civil registration district for your town and the parish name for your town. And that is a nice end of presentation marker for you to ponder and think about as we have fairly shortly a raffle and lucky door prize draw. And I think one of the prizes there is a meat tray. So
Absolutely.
so thank you very much.
Then it was time to draw the lucky door prizes.
So our lucky door prizes are a hamper of continental goodies. There are 2 meat trays of continental goodies as well. And we have, because we couldn't possibly post those to our members online, we'll do a separate draw for those virtual door prizes, and we have a book for them that we can post.
Alana O'Kane then spoke of a project which had been started to commemorate the activities of the Central European Group.
So when we first started discussing the nature of the 40th anniversary celebration back in November last year, we put the case to Eric that while a celebratory event like this was appropriate, a lasting legacy of the 40th anniversary would be equally desirable. And could a project be initiated to digitise and index the contents of the boxes labelled Les Morland Collection? Such a simple question. But things are never quite that simple, are they? Undaunted, or perhaps terribly daunted, but pioneer DNA running strong, Eric Rosemary, Stuart Johnston, and most notably Lynn Hooper, whose contribution has been mammoth, have worked like absolute Trojans and have completed that lasting legacy for the benefit of all members, now and into the future. To finish our 40th anniversary celebration this morning, Eric will now launch the Les Morland Scrapbook Collection.
Eric Kapitke provided detail of the index to the Les Morland Scrapbook Collection, recently completed and launched in time for the group's 40th anniversary.
That Les Morland was extremely generous with his time and his, we'll call it, expertise. People would ask Les, look, I've got this or that, or I can't find my family or whatever. And Les would say, absolutely, send me everything you've got and I'll help you. So people sent letters to Les, and with those letters there'd be copies of birth certificates or death certificates or, well, quite a wide variety. We access the Les Morland collection with the usual data search facility on the website. You can search by surname or given name or whatever. We've indexed the certificates, the extracts from German records, and so on that were provided. So what are you likely to find in this collection? Civil certificates from Australia or New Zealand or England or Germany or Italy. Parish registers, mostly German. Originals and extracts, sometimes translations by German researchers. Familienregister or Familienblätter, family registers or family pages, Reisepass or travel pass, Bürgerrechtsverzichtkunde, civil rights waiver, and census records. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present the Les Morland scrapbook collection of all the multiple certificates and bits and pieces and wonderful little treasure trove of information that's been stored away by Les and given to us by his widow for our use here in the Society. So.
Lots of treasures there. And perhaps this is quite singular in that all of the information that Les received, he put into the scrapbooks, which is why it's called a scrapbook collection. And so every skerrick of information that he received has been handed over without any further editing or selecting. That's not going to necessarily be the same sort of treasures that are in our other boxes. And if you think I'm doing a little bit of a promotion on, on volunteering to get yourself involved in some indexing project, you're not wrong.
Finally,
Yes,
Alana
thank you.
O'Kane thanked the many volunteers who had helped to organise the morning's festivities.
That's what you did.
A special thank you to our two corporate sponsors, My Heritage and Legacy Family Tree webinars.